Hello to everyone, this is Legal One and Dr. Maryam from Mohammed Bani Hashem Advocates and Legal Consultants. And in this video, in this live stream, today I would like to discuss the topic related to court case procedure and remote litigation. Thank you so much for attending today's live stream. In case you have any questions, you want to share your situation, you want to ask something, you can do it straight ahead. In the comments to this live stream, we will be discussing all the questions that you all might have. Actually, the topic related to case procedure and remote litigation was directed because we receive a lot of emails, a lot of comments, a lot of questions from the followers related to the case. For example, I have this and this situation, what I should do, what I should do next, how should I handle with my case, etc. So I think that this video should be useful to each and everybody who might have a case or who has currently a case in the court, at least to have understanding how the case should go, what you can do, what are the options, and what is the procedure right now happening in the courts. This video also, of course, will be saved and you will be able to see it on the page of Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, depends where it would be more convenient for you. So let's start with the first point, filing of the case. I think still some people, they have doubts about filing of the case, how you can file the case, and of course it all depends on the type of your case. It all depends of some minor details that sometimes we can't give direct instructions, but generally speaking, currently in UAE everything is online. So if you want to file your case, you can also do it online. Let us take a simple situation where you have a labor case. It's a very common question, and a lot of our followers, they have labor cases. So this is a very common question. Let's take it as an example. So if you have a labor case, you can actually again file it online. Also, a lot of people, they use Amir to proceed with the registration of the case and with the further requests. However, if you are an active user of the court system or of the modern technologies right now, you can request for e-pass and you will be able to have an online access to the court file. It will be easier for you and you can see what's happening with the file. If you have a representative in your case, then also your representative will be able to see all the information in the case. It will be visible for him and he can share all the details with you from the court system. And this is the same for the all Emirates. I mean, it's the same for the local courts, it's the same for the federal courts, and basically this is a part of the subject of today's live video. DIFC courts is also the same, so everything is visibly online. This procedure started from last year in 2020, where we had a decree number 33 for remote litigation, and basically it's related to the family cases, labor cases, civil cases, commercial cases, and even the criminal cases as well. So this is a united procedure. I mean, there are details for each case. If this is a family, there are some details there. If this is a labor case, there are some details there. And for the criminal especially, there are lots of details. But generally speaking, this is the procedure. So however you want to protect your rights, you can now do it online, and this is to make it easy and more convenient for each and everybody to protect their right and to seek for litigation and to search for the judgment. I continue, I repeat myself, in case you have any questions, you can ask them right now and we will discuss. Maybe somebody wants to discuss his situation, or there is some question regarding the litigation or something like this. So remote is the filing, and remotely also there is a further procedure for the submitting of the documents and the hearings as well. This is also in the frame of the safety measures that are happening right now in the UAE. And in case someone of you has for example, case in the DIFC, maybe again this is employment, maybe for example you are working there in the DIFC, everything is also online. So notwithstanding of the jurisdiction, the support of your right and the protection of your right is fully remote. And let us continue about the stages and the judgment in the case. We received again a lot of questions because sometimes the people, they are concerned about stages in the case. Sometimes some people, they have expectation that after filing of the case there is a judgment automatically. That is of course not correct, and there is a certain procedure in each case that any court will follow because each party has rights and each party can submit the position and the evidence and defend, for example, the position. So it's a fair litigation and fair court procedure for each parties. But of course, stages they might vary, depends on the type of the case. I repeat this because again, it depends what case you have. You have, again, a very simple example. You have a labor case, or you have a family case, or maybe you have a civil or commercial case. So the stages, of course, they will be different. But briefly speaking, once you file a claim, this is from where we started today. Once you file a claim, of course, then there are further stages in the case until the case will reach to the judgment. So after there is announcement or notification to the other parties for them to be aware about the process. So basically they should be aware. And here this is a very important part in each case. Why? Because in case the other party is not informed, then this decision will be dropped off in future. This is 100%. So this is a useless case, I might say. But also I should give a small comment. If we are speaking about some cases such as family cases and labor cases, there should be a prior stage before you file a claim. And this is a must. If you avoid this stage, then your case is again lost. So you have to be careful, depends on the type of the case, to follow certain steps till you reach a final judgment. So, okay, for example, we announce the parties. What happens later? Later depends on the position of defendant. He appeared or he did not appear. Then parties should submit their documents. The process of the preliminary stage, so the first stage in the UAE courts calls case management section. So this is actually the part to prepare a case and to let it go to the judge. You don't see it when you are acting in the case. You don't recognize this, but this is a certain procedure for the case to be prepared and then submitted to the judge, where the judge will lead the case till the judgment, and he will understand and he will see the position of the parties. Just a minute, let me just finish this part, and we have already questions online. I will definitely answer all the questions that you all have today. Once the defendant received the claim or received a notification about the claim, then he might reply. So the parties can submit their documents and can submit their evidences. And then there are also certain stages further. For example, there might be an expert, for example, there might be a witness, or there might be any other stages, depends on the request to get some information, like this. It depends about the complexity of the case, it depends about the situation, but it all might happen, because sometimes people are confused. Why I have an expert? I did not ask for an expert. Okay, but it means that this is necessary for the judge to understand your situation, or maybe the other party they asked. So you have to be very careful with what is going on, and you shouldn't be confused if sometimes the stages, you have a lot of steps in the case. This is something that should be understandable for you, and this is something that will help you to get proper expectation, because again, a lot of people, they ask, how much time will it take to get a final judgment? It's very difficult to predict in every case how much time it will take for the judgment. It's very difficult. It's almost, I should say, impossible. That's why if you understand what might happen in the case, if you understand that, okay, I can expect that I will have this and this stages, at least you know that it takes time for the judgment, and this will be something that will not confuse you. I think it will make you feel calm down as parties, and for example as a representative. You should be aware about this. So what is the question? I want to ask, on which jurisdiction or court a criminal case is heard for an expats. Maybe I did not get your question properly, so please you can just explain what exactly you want to find out. If we are speaking about a criminal case, this is a different part, because in the criminal case we can't say that there are two parties. There is an investigation part, and which is the public prosecution who is attending the part, and there is a person who is not accused, but he is under investigation, under these hearings. So if there is some certain procedure, it will happen in accordance with the criminal procedure law. That is totally different from the civil part or family cases or labor cases. This is totally different. So whatever happens in the criminal case, right now it also might be done remotely. Whatever happens in the criminal case, definitely the most important for the person is to save the rights. For example, if the case is against you, unfortunately, then you have to know what rights you have. But the stages will be fully in the judge control. So the judge will lead this case 100%, and he will see what exactly he needs. If this is the next expert, maybe a criminal for the forensic lab or something like this, will be fully in the judge control, and it should be like this. But if you want to ask, maybe I didn't get your question properly, please type it again, and I will come back to your question again. I was speaking about the stages and the judgment. So once everything is clear for the judge, once there is no request from the parties to do something, because it also might prolong the case, requests of the parties to do something or to get some information or to submit some documents, it will extend the time in the case. Then, for example, the case will come to the judgment, and this is where you have an order in your hands, or this is actually why you started this case. You have a judgment. And again, one more confusing point. A lot of people, they don't know that actually the judgment is an order, but the claimant, the person who made this case, he should do other actions. This is again in his hands, and this is his duty to do it, because a lot of people, they don't understand. For example, we have questions from our followers. I have an order in my hands, but nothing happens. This is very natural that nothing happens, because you should file an execution file to get, for example, if this is a financial order, to get your money back. So again, you have to do it. And same as you have, as you file the case, you have to pay the court fees. We will speak about the situation where you might avoid court fees, and this will be in the end of today's session, today's video. But generally speaking, yes, you have to pay the fees. So this is something, what is the duty of the claimant. So the third part of today's video, or today's discussion, let us say, is in case, for example, there is a possible appeal. It's also a very frustrating part. A lot of people, they are confused about having appeal in the case, about even having possibility of appeal. But appeal, this is a very important part, and it gives a possibility for both parties, if you are a claimant or you are a defendant, to support and protect their rights. Because sometimes maybe the cases was not in the favor of the claimant, he should have appeal. Sometimes the defendant, maybe he want to use his right, or maybe the judgment was unfair for him. So it depends about the situation, it depends where you are. Maybe you are a defendant in this case. So appeal is important for you. You have to know that you have 30 days to use this right. If we are speaking about the UAE courts, if we are speaking about the DIFC court, here the situation is a little bit different, and you have to have 21 days. And this is not for appeal, this is for permission to appeal, to ask if the court will allow you to go to make the appeal or no, to have an appeal process or no. In case nobody appealed, then there is an execution, again by the request of the claimant, and there are certain things the claimant has to do in this execution. And also again, we received a huge number of the requests about the execution, because it's a very questioned part by a lot of people who experience the court process. Well, I will not be able to cover all the possibilities of execution in this video. In case you have any questions, you can ask it right now, or you can ask them after this video, for example, in the message or in the email, whatever is better and easier for you. So in the execution, of course, you have to search for an asset, you have to search for the person, you have to announce the person again. And in case this is impossible, or you didn't get any assets, you didn't get any financial funds on the account, or there is no property for the defendant who is a debtor in the execution process, then of course you can ask for arrest warranty. And this is a very brief about execution procedure, which is same notwithstanding of the type of the case. And I'm not speaking about criminal part right now. Criminal part is a little bit a different thing, and mostly it's about a punishment, and the execution or enforcement of the judgment in the criminal process is fully again in the hands of the court and public prosecution. So this is about execution, and in the execution you have a judge again, and where you can ask for some certain requests, or for postponement, or for settlement, or for anything what you need in your certain situation. And also I wanted to speak, and this is a very important right now, because a lot of people, they have financial difficulties. They actually search, or they ask for help, for free help, because they don't have anything in their hands. They need a support. So I should say that there are certain possibilities in the local courts, and for example, such as DIFC courts. Again, if you are working there, or you are hired there, or you have some business there, yes, you can again seek for some free things. If we are speaking about the UAE courts, then I should say that, let us take again example of labor case. If you have a labor case up to 100,000, it's absolutely free. You don't have to pay any court fees, which is positive, which is very positive. In case, for example, we're speaking about another type of the case. Let us take another example, for example, insurance case. Insurance case, for example, something happened with your health, or you are in some certain medical condition like this, and you are seeking for a compensation. Here you might ask a court for postponement or release from the court fees. And in case this permission will be granted, then you will be able to avoid paying the court fees, which is again very positive. For some certain types of the case, the people can get free, let us say, support, what to do and how to file, some certain details. About the legal help, well, it depends about the lawyer. Of course, some lawyers, they have free consultation, some no, but generally speaking, this is possible. If we are speaking about DIFC courts, there, if in case you have financial difficulties, you might get a legal advice under supervision of the court through some special committee dedicated for these things. So you have to provide an evidence about your financial situation. Maybe you lost your job, maybe you are currently searching for a job, you don't have funds, and you have a very difficult situation, and your case is a minor, let's say it's not a huge amount, then you might get a free legal advice, or even before trial or during trial. So everything is possible, basically depends on the desire of the person. If you want to protect your right, if you want to, for example, get a compensation or get something what is impossible to be done except from the court's order, this is all possible. So basically, this video was for you to explain how the court process keep going, and thanks to them recommendation and regulation, and thanks to the updates of the system, a lot of things they are possible, not even without a physical presence in the country, because a lot of people, they want to travel, they need to travel, they need to go out from the country. They can continue their case, and they can continue updating their case without physically being present inside of the UAE, which is very positive. Yeah, sure. You can send. Thank you for the question. You can send if you have any comments. You can send it in the private message. So, in case anyone of you has questions related to this particular subject, you can share it right now before we close the today's live video, or in case you will have any further questions, you might share it through the social media, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, whatever is convenient for you. And in case we don't have any more questions, then I think that we are done for today. I will just keep a couple of minutes in case you still want to ask something, because we received a very big number of the questions related to the procedure and the process in the case, which is very, of course, very worried for a lot of people who are facing court trials, who are facing litigation. So you have a possibility to do it right now, or unfortunately, if you are not able to join today video, you can do it after the session, after the today's stream. If to make a short conclusion for you about the court process and about the remote litigation, this is mostly to make it easier for the people to protect their right, to have a possibility to file a case, to have a possibility to attend the case and attend the hearings, being in UAE or being outside of the UAE, or without of physical presence. And also it's a possibility to provide all kind of evidence, all kind of options to get a judgment what you want, and of course following the steps and following the process. We have one more question about 100% ownership for the businesses in UAE. This is not a subject of today's video, okay, I got the question. But if you want to find out, there are also a lot of things you have to take in consideration about 100% of ownership. The law was announced in December 2020, and in the law, definitely you have to go to the economic department, which is the one who is given the license for you in case you open or established a company. So what I can suggest, it's okay. What I can suggest, you can just depends on the type of the company, what you are going to do, because this is not for everybody. You can ask for permission from economic department to make this company 100% on you if you are a foreigner, or to change it if this company is already existing. So I can suggest to contact economic department and to request for this permission from there, because in any way the license is issued from economic department. So this authority is the one to decide to give it or no, but the law was already announced, as I mentioned, last year. I hope it will give you at least some understanding about this situation, and inshallah, if you have any questions related to this, you can just type a message, or you can send an email to us to ask for more details if you have a certain situation, depends about your company. There is one more question. In case of filing an appeal, what would be the first thing to do for the defendant side? Okay, this is a very good question, actually. So if you are a defendant and you filed an appeal and you already do it, you are on the right way. First of all, what I can suggest, it depends about the situation. Sometimes the defendant has an absent judgment and he is in a position where he should work hard to cancel absent judgment. This is one part. Another part, sometimes the defendant, he was present in the case, but he got the judgment not in his favor, so the judgment is not fair for him. So in this situation, both situations, the defendant has to provide an evidence. Without providing an evidence, defendant will never get a successful judgment, will never get the judgment, so the case will be always on the claimant side, because the process is for both parties to prove their position. If the claimant provided an evidence and defendant is silent, he did not provide an evidence, then this is a worst case scenario. The only thing what you will win from the appeal, you will win a time. So you will win a time, and for this time you will not have a judgment against you. But in the end of the matter, after a time, without of evidence, you will again have a judgment against you in appeal. So I suggest, if you are a defendant, collect an evidence. Strictly follow the claim, what the claimant he wants from you. For example, he wants some money. This is a very common case. then you should provide the evidence, for example, that you already paid this money, or the claimant doesn't have right about this money. Or, for example, if this claim is about claiming some compensation or for the contract, then again you should prove that you don't need to pay this money. If the claim is from the company against employee, it's also very common situation. Then for the employee, I always advise to file a case against the company if there are some violations, and the employee should do it. It's better that he will do it first if there are some violations from the side of the company. But this is briefly. I hope it will give you understanding about the defendant's position, that together with appeal or after appeal, he should provide an evidence. Maybe he can request for an expert, maybe he can request for some certain maybe he can provide a witness. It's also good an opportunity to give an evidence if you don't have it in written. You don't have any papers with you, but you have a witness who was present, and he will say, yes, I was there this day and I know that he provided the money for him, so everything is clear. Oh, okay, if you thank you for clearing. If you have a lawyer in this case as a defendant, I'm definitely sure that the lawyer will be able to assist the defendant in the best way. But again, if there is a lawyer, this lawyer should provide an evidence. Then this will be successful. Otherwise, without of evidence, it's just winning of the time. In case you have any more questions, please, you have an opportunity to share it right now. In case you don't have a questions right now at the moment, you can always share your questions later on through the social media, Facebook, Instagram. Also, I wanted to say that appeal, this is not the final part. You can have a Supreme Court, you can have a cassation, but it's for the cases where the amount is quite big. So this is not for all types of the cases. That's why if you have a lawyer in your case, if you have a legal advisor in your case, you can always ask him and these certain points what we actually discussed today, and the lawyer always should explain to you what you should expect in this case. Okay, here we are right now. I think that this will be the next part, or at least he should explain what is going on currently in your case. So if you don't have any more questions for today, thank you so much for your attention. I hope you are all prepared for the upcoming Ramadan. I hope that you are staying safe, you and your families. I hope that you will have a wonderful week ahead. Thank you so much for your attention. This video will be saved on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and you will be able to watch it again in case, unfortunately, you are not able to join live on Instagram today. Thank you so much. Goodbye and take care.